Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It's quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's dive into today's story. Meet Emma, a young woman who works as a waitress at a cozy little diner on the outskirts of New York City. The hustle of the busy streets and the hum of daily life don't seem to faze her. She's used to it. But today, something's different. As she walks into the elegant restaurant where she's been set up for a blind date, she feels out of place. The air is thick with the chatter of well-dressed patrons and the clinking of silverware, a stark contrast to the worn-out second-hand dress she's wearing and her scuffed shoes. Emma hesitates for a moment, glancing at her reflection in the glass door, and quickly pushes aside her self-doubt. She promised her best friend, Jenny, she would give it a shot. A blind date, what could possibly go wrong? She mutters the table number to herself, table 7, as her heart races. She scans the room nervously, feeling the weight of every gaze that glances her way. There, at the far end of the room, a man sits alone, engrossed in his phone. His dark hair is neatly styled, and he's wearing a sharp suit that immediately stands out in the crowded space. That must be him, she thinks, taking a deep breath and walking towards the table. Hi, you must be Kevin, Emma says with a nervous smile, trying to ignore the knot in her stomach. The man looks up, startled, blinking at her for a moment as if he's trying to figure out if she's real. Hi Emma, he finally replies, his voice low and calm. But there's a hesitation in his eyes that makes Emma feel even more self-conscious. He looks confused, probably shy, she thinks. She quickly slides into the seat across from him. I know this is awkward. Blind dates are weird, right? Jenny told me you might be a little quiet. So don't worry, I can talk enough for both of us. She laughs nervously, clutching her water glass a little too tightly. The man looks at her with a faint smile. He opens his mouth, likely to correct her, but then seems to reconsider. He looks down at his phone one last time, seeing a message from his business partner canceling their meeting. He sighs, then glances back at her, intrigued. She seems so different from the women he's used to meeting. Instead of the polished socialites and well-heeled businesswomen, Emma feels real. Genuine. Right? Blind dates are something else, he says, his voice softening. Emma laughs awkwardly again, trying to mask her nerves. She shifts in her seat, the uncomfortable silence hanging between them. Tell me about yourself, he asks, clearly trying to keep the conversation going. Emma feels a mix of relief and curiosity wash over her. I'm a waitress, she says with a shrug. Not exactly glamorous, but it pays the bills. Well, most of them anyway. Enough about me though. What do you do? She asks, trying to steer the conversation. He pauses, clearly not eager to share too much about himself. I work in tech, he replies, his tone vague. You know, coding, apps, that kind of thing. Emma smiles at the mention of apps. Tech. That's cool. I'm terrible with computers. She laughs a little too loudly, trying to ease the tension. The man just smiles back, his lips curling into a faint, amused grin. He leans back in his chair, watching her talk. There's something about her that's refreshing. She's so different from the women he normally meets. No pretenses, just a little awkward, but real. As the conversation continues, Emma finds herself opening up in a way she hasn't in a long time. She talks about the struggles of working long shifts at the diner, the difficulties of paying rent, and her dreams of one day opening her own art studio. She talks about her passion for painting, which she's had since she was a little girl, and how it feels like her only escape. The man listens intently, nodding along. For the first time in a while, he's enjoying a conversation, and it's not about business deals or networking. But just as she's about to share more about her dreams, her phone buzzes in her pocket. She glances down at the screen, and her stomach drops. Hey Emma, where are you? I'm at table 7, the text says. Emma feels her cheeks burn with embarrassment. Oh no, she mutters to herself. She looks up at the man, her face turning crimson. You're not Kevin, are you? She asks, barely above a whisper. The man's expression falters for a second, the smile fading from his lips. No, I'm not Kevin, he says quietly, guilt flashing in his eyes. Emma stands up quickly, her mind racing. I'm so sorry. she says, fumbling with her coat. I sat at the wrong table. This is so embarrassing. Before he can say anything, she grabs her purse and hurries towards the door, her heart pounding in her chest. The man watches her go, a strange feeling of regret settling in his chest. He meant to correct her from the start, but something about her honesty, her openness, made him hesitate. Now, as she disappears out the door, he can't shake the thought of her. Why does the idea of never seeing her again bother him so much? As Emma rushes out of the restaurant, her face flushed with embarrassment, her heart pounds in her chest. She can't believe what just happened. She had already built up the courage to go on a blind date, only to make a complete fool of herself. The cold night air hits her face, but it doesn't cool the flush on her cheeks. She's so focused on trying to escape the awkwardness of the moment that she doesn't even notice she's walking straight into someone. Hey, watch where you're going, a voice calls out, but it's too late. She's already bumping into the person. Oh, I'm so sorry, she stammers, looking up at the man she almost collided with. He's tall, wearing a coat that's far more expensive than anything Emma could afford, but his smile is kind. He looks at her with a raised eyebrow, clearly trying to hide his amusement at the situation. It's all right, he says, still smiling. Emma quickly steps back, adjusting her coat. She mutters a quick apology, and before she can get another word out, she's already turning to walk away, wanting to get as far from the restaurant as possible. Hey, wait. The man's voice stops her. She turns around hesitantly, wondering if he's going to give her a hard time for the awkward exit. But instead, he's holding out his hand. I think you dropped something, he says, motioning to her purse, which she must have carelessly let fall when she rushed out. Emma looks down at the purse, embarrassed all over again. She reaches for it, muttering another apology. Thanks, I guess I'm just all over the place tonight. She laughs nervously, brushing a strand of hair out of her face. The man smiles again, and there's something reassuring in his expression. It's fine, really, he says. Looks like you had a rough night. Are you okay? Emma hesitates. There's something about his voice that makes her feel like she can be honest for once. She sighs deeply before speaking. I don't even know, she admits. She pauses, shaking her head. I went to a blind date, and it didn't go well. I thought I was meeting someone named Kevin, but turns out I was at the wrong table. Total disaster. She laughs softly, feeling a mix of relief and embarrassment. The man listens without interrupting, which makes her feel even more comfortable. He chuckles softly. That sounds like something straight out of a movie, he says, and Emma can't help but smile at the way he seems to understand the situation without judgment. Yeah, definitely not how I expected my night to go, she says, glancing around the street, hoping to change the subject. I don't even know why I'm telling you all this. We just met, and here I am, spilling my embarrassing life story. She forces a laugh, but he just shrugs. Sometimes talking to a stranger helps more than you think, he says. I'm Michael, by the way. He extends his hand again, and Emma shakes it, still feeling a bit out of place. I'm Emma, she replies. For a moment, there's a slight pause. The world around them continues to move, but for just a moment, Emma feels like time stands still. She can't explain why, but there's something about this encounter that feels different. Something about Michael makes her feel lighter, not quite so embarrassed, not so alone. Well, Emma, Michael says, breaking the silence. It's a bit late for a coffee, but if you're up for it, I know a great place around the corner. They have the best pastries. Might help to take your mind off things. He says it so casually, but there's a warmth to his voice that makes Emma want to say yes. She looks at him, weighing the offer. She doesn't have anything to lose. Besides, after the night she's had, a warm drink and some fresh air sound like the perfect way to unwind. I guess it couldn't hurt, she says with a smile, shrugging. Lead the way. As they walk down the street, Emma can't shake the feeling that somehow, she's been given a second chance, like the night didn't have to be a total disaster. Maybe, just maybe, there was something good waiting on the other side of this mix-up. The cold night air feels a little less harsh now, and as they turn the corner, Emma finds herself looking forward to whatever might come next. As they walk down the quiet street, the evening air feels sharper, but somehow less oppressive. Emma's heart, still racing from earlier, has begun to slow down. Michael, walking beside her, seems at ease. His calm demeanor contrasts with her earlier flustered state, and she can't help but admire how effortlessly comfortable he is. They reach the corner, where a small cafe with warm lighting spills out into the street. The soft hum of conversation and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee greet them as they step inside. It's not fancy, just a cozy, welcoming spot, exactly what Emma needs right now. Michael gestures toward a table by the window. "This place is perfect for late-night thinking," he says, pulling out a chair for her. Emma smiles and sits down, still feeling a little out of place, but less so than before. The cafe feels like a secret haven in the middle of the bustling city, and for the first time tonight, she starts to relax. "What can I get you?" Michael asks, his voice gentle as he scans the menu. Emma looks at the options, feeling a little overwhelmed. She's used to the fast pace of her usual diner job, quick orders, fast service. But here, everything feels slower, more thoughtful. "Just a coffee for me, I guess," she replies, realizing she's not really in the mood for anything too complicated. Michael orders something as well, and as they wait for the drinks to arrive, the conversation starts to flow. At first, it's small talk. What kind of work Emma does, how long she's been living in the city, her favorite spots to visit when she has free time. But, as the conversation deepens, Emma finds herself sharing more than she thought she would. "I've always loved painting," she says, almost as an afterthought. "It's something I've been doing since I was a kid. But, life gets in the way, and dreams like that get pushed to the side." She laughs, but there's a sadness in her eyes. Michael notices, and his expression softens. "You should never push your dreams aside," he says, leaning forward slightly. "I'm sure there's a way to make it happen, even if it seems impossible." His words are simple, but there's a sincerity to them that catches Emma off guard. It's rare that someone, especially a stranger, seems to care so much about her aspirations. She feels the weight of his words settling in her chest, and for a moment, she wonders if maybe, just maybe, he's right. "It's not that easy," she says quietly, looking down at her hands. "I work 2 jobs just to pay rent. My art's just something I do on the side, something I dream about doing full-time. But I don't know how to get there." Her voice falters, and for a second, she regrets being so open with him. But Michael doesn't seem put off. He just listens, nodding understandingly. "I get it," he says. "Life's not always easy, but it's never too late to start working on what you want. It's all about taking that first step." He pauses, letting his words hang in the air. "You never know what might happen if you keep going." Emma looks up at him, meeting his gaze for the first time since they've sat down. There's something reassuring in the way he speaks, as if he's been through his own share of struggles and learned from them. For a moment, she considers what it would be like to take his advice, to stop putting off her dreams. But it still feels like such a far-off possibility. "Thanks," she says softly. "I don't really know if I can, but I guess it's nice to hear." She offers a small smile, grateful for his kindness. The coffee arrives, and the conversation shifts again. Michael asks her about her favorite memories from childhood, and they begin to share stories, funny, light-hearted tales that bring a warmth to the table. Emma finds herself laughing more freely now, something she hadn't expected after the awkward start to the evening. She feels a sense of connection with Michael, something real and simple that she hasn't felt in a long time. As the evening continues, they talk about everything and nothing. Life in the city, the best places to eat on a budget, even their most embarrassing moments. It's a conversation so easy that Emma starts to wonder if this is how it feels to have a real connection with someone. But as the night wears on and they both finish their drinks, there's a shift in the air, something unspoken between them. Michael says as they prepare to leave, "I think you're really talented. And I mean that. You've got a lot of potential." His words catch Emma off guard, but there's an earnestness in his tone that makes her heart skip a beat. She looks up at him, unsure of how to respond. "I don't know about all that," she says, looking down at the table again, suddenly shy. "But thanks. That means a lot." She gives him a smile, unsure of where this evening is headed, but feeling something stirring inside her. As they step back out into the cool night, Emma can't help but feel like the evening isn't over yet. There's a sense of anticipation in the air, a possibility that she didn't have earlier tonight. Maybe, just maybe, there's more to this night than she thought. As they walk out of the cafe and onto the dimly lit streets, the evening feels quieter somehow. Emma feels lighter, as though the weight of the night has been lifted off her shoulders. The walk back to her apartment is short, But she doesn't mind. She's still processing everything Michael said, how he listened to her, how he made her feel like maybe she could actually follow her dreams. She's not sure how, but for the first time in a long while, she's starting to believe it could happen. They walk in comfortable silence for a few moments before Michael speaks again. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but I think you should really think about that art studio idea, he says, his voice sincere. You've got talent, Emma. Don't let it slip away just because things are tough right now. His words hit her harder than she expected. She's used to people brushing off her dreams, telling her that they're impractical. But Michael's words feel different. They feel like they come from someone who truly understands. Emma stops walking for a moment, her mind spinning. She never expected a random encounter to lead to this kind of encouragement. She looks up at Michael, who is watching her closely, his face open and patient. You really think so? She asks, her voice barely above a whisper. Michael shrugs, his hands stuffed in his coat pockets. I don't think it's about what I think, he says with a small smile. It's about what you think. If you're passionate about something, there's always a way to make it happen. It might take time, but it's worth it. Emma feels a lump in her throat. She's been so focused on surviving day to day that she's forgotten how much she used to love painting. She's pushed it aside for practicality's sake. But tonight, something in her is beginning to shift. She wants to believe Michael. She wants to believe that it's not too late. Maybe, she murmurs, still unsure of how to make it happen, but feeling the smallest spark of hope. They continue walking, and Emma finds herself looking at the city with new eyes. It's still the same city she's lived in for years, but somehow, it feels different now. She's starting to imagine what it would be like if she took the leap, if she really followed her heart. Maybe it wouldn't be so impossible after all. As they reach her apartment building, Michael turns to her, his smile warm. I'll let you get some rest, he says, his voice softer now. But seriously, think about it. And if you ever need someone to talk to or bounce ideas off of, I'm around. He pauses for a moment, his expression thoughtful. I believe in you, Emma. You've got more inside you than you realize. Emma feels a lump in her throat again. She's not sure if it's the late hour or the weight of his words, but she's grateful for this conversation more than she can say. She offers him a small smile, feeling like she's been given something precious tonight, a glimpse of the possibility of her dreams. Thank you, Michael, she says softly, her voice full of sincerity. I really appreciate it. You've no idea how much this means to me. Michael gives her a nod, and with that, he turns to walk away, but before he goes, he glances back. Take care of yourself, Emma, he says. I'm sure I'll see you around. And with that, he disappears into the night. Emma watches him leave, a strange feeling settling in her chest. It's a mix of gratitude and something else, something she can't quite name. As she turns to enter her building, she feels lighter than she has in a long time. It's as though the universe has opened up a small door, and she might just be ready to walk through it. As Emma enters her apartment, the quiet of the night envelopes her. She walks over to the window and looks out at the city. The lights below shimmer in the darkness, and for a moment, she lets herself dream. It's not going to be easy, but for the first time in a long time, she believes it's possible. Maybe it's time to stop waiting for everything to fall into place and start making it happen. With a deep breath, Emma turns away from the window and heads to her bedroom. The night might be over, but her journey is just beginning. The next few days pass in a blur of thoughts, hopes, and small decisions. Emma can't stop thinking about the conversation she had with Michael. His words replay in her mind, offering a new kind of clarity. Every time she walks past her sketchbook, now gathering dust on her small desk, she feels a tug in her chest. It's as though the universe has shifted just a little, and suddenly, it feels like something inside her might be possible. Her art, something she had pushed aside for so long, feels like it's calling her back. At work, things are the same as always. She serves food, refills drinks, takes orders with the same routine she's become so familiar with. But now, there's a difference. There's a quiet undercurrent of excitement in her thoughts, a sense that maybe there's more to her life than this. Every time she looks at her phone, she checks her messages from Jenny, but she also finds herself searching for art galleries, local shows, and workshops that might help her start pursuing what she's always dreamed of. One afternoon, while she's on a break at work, she catches sight of a flyer on the bulletin board in the back room of the diner. It's advertising an upcoming art show, a local event for aspiring artists to display their work. Emma feels her pulse quicken. She tears the flyer from the wall, staring at it for a long moment. It's the first real opportunity she's seen in years, an actual chance to show her work to the world. It's exactly the kind of thing Michael was talking about. She's been thinking about it all week, and now, it feels like a sign. With trembling hands, she takes a picture of the flyer and sends it to Jenny. "What do you think? Should I do it?" she writes. Almost immediately, Jenny replies with a flurry of encouragement. "Of course you should. You've got this, Emma. What's holding you back?" The words hit her like a wave. What's holding her back? It's always been fear. Fear of failure, of rejection, of putting herself out there and realizing her dreams aren't as attainable as she thought. But the more she thinks about it, the more she realizes that fear has been holding her back from living the life she's wanted. It's time to take that first step. That night, after her shift ends, Emma takes her sketchbook into the quiet of her small apartment. She sits down at her desk, flips it open to a fresh page, and picks up her favorite pencil. For a while, she just stares at the blank page. She's nervous, unsure of where to begin. But slowly, she starts to draw, lightly at first, then with more confidence. As the strokes of her pencil fill the page, she begins to lose herself in the process. The anxiety starts to fade, replaced with the feeling of being truly alive. This is what she was meant to do. This is what she's always been meant to do. Over the next few days, Emma works tirelessly, refining her art and preparing for the show. She spends her breaks sketching, finding time between shifts to put together a small portfolio of her best work. It's a lot of work for someone who has always been used to doing things in her spare time, but she doesn't mind. There's a fire inside her now, one that she hasn't felt in years. Finally, the night of the show arrives. Emma's nerves are at their peak as she walks into the gallery space. It's a small venue, but the walls are filled with art, some good, some great, and some that make her feel small in comparison. But she pushes the self-doubt aside. Her work is here, and that's what matters. She's made it this far. As the evening goes on, she mingles with other artists, exchanging stories and looking at their work. But it's when she spots Michael in the crowd that her heart skips a beat. He's standing near her artwork, a smile on his face as he takes in her pieces. She wasn't expecting him to come, but seeing him here feels like a validation she didn't realize she needed. "You came," she says, her voice cracking slightly as she walks over to him. Michael turns toward her, a warm smile spreading across his face. "Of course I came," he says. "I wouldn't miss this. Your work is amazing, Emma." She feels a surge of pride at his words, her nerves easing just a little. "Thank you," she replies, feeling a little shy but grateful. Michael looks at her artwork again, his expression thoughtful. "You've got something special," he says. "I hope this is just the beginning for you." His words settle in her chest like a promise. For the first time in a long while, Emma believes it could be the beginning. She might not know exactly where this journey will take her, but tonight, she's made her first step. And that's enough to give her hope that the life she's dreamed of might actually be within reach. The next few weeks fly by for Emma. Her work at the diner remains the same, but everything else has changed. She's now juggling her shifts with her growing commitment to her art. The show that night was a turning point. Not only did it give her the courage to pursue her dreams, but it also opened new doors. She's already received a few offers for commissions, and the gallery owners have been asking her to show her work at more events. It's overwhelming, but it feels like she's finally on the right path. But despite her success, something in Emma is unsettled. She can't shake the feeling that she's still not doing enough. Her dreams are beginning to feel like they might be within reach, but she can't ignore the weight of her responsibilities. Rent is still tight, and she doesn't have much saved. She spends every free moment working on her art, but the pressure is starting to wear her down. One afternoon, after another long shift, she walks home, the familiar hum of the city surrounding her. As she passes by her favorite park, she spots someone sitting on a bench. It's Michael. He's sitting alone, looking up at the sky, lost in thought. She hesitates for a moment, then approaches, feeling a mixture of comfort and nervousness. "Hey," she calls out softly, a smile tugging at her lips. Michael turns toward her, his face lighting up when he sees her. "Hey, Emma," he replies warmly, standing up. "How's it going? I saw your art in the gallery last week. It's incredible." She smiles, feeling a rush of pride. "Thanks. It's been a little crazy lately, but I'm starting to feel like I'm on the right track. She takes a seat next to him on the bench, the cool breeze brushing against her face. Michael nods, his expression thoughtful. I can tell. You've been working hard. But don't forget to take a breath every once in a while. You're doing great, but you also deserve to enjoy the journey. His voice is calm, reassuring. Emma looks at him, her heart suddenly feeling a little lighter. She's been so focused on pushing forward, on the next step, that she's forgotten to appreciate how far she's come. I guess you're right, she admits, her voice quiet. Sometimes it's hard to remember that. I'm just so scared that if I stop, everything will fall apart. Michael looks at her, his eyes sincere. I get it. But if you keep going at this pace, you'll burn out. You need balance, Emma. Passion is important, but so is taking care of yourself. He pauses, then adds, You've already done so much. Take a moment to enjoy what you've accomplished. She smiles, feeling a wave of gratitude for him. Thanks, Michael. I think I needed to hear that. There's a moment of silence between them as they both sit, watching the city around them. For the first time in a while, Emma feels a sense of calm settle over her. She's not alone in this. And maybe it's okay to slow down a little. Over the next few days, Emma takes Michael's advice to heart. She spends time with friends, reconnects with things she loves outside of her art, and takes long walks in the park when the weather is nice. The pressure doesn't disappear, but she learns how to manage it better, balancing her work, her passion, and her self-care. One evening, after another long day at the diner, she receives a call. It's from the gallery owner she met at the art show. Emma, the voice on the other end says, We'd like to offer you a solo exhibition next month. You've got a real gift, and we want to give you the chance to showcase your work in a bigger way. What do you think? Emma's heart skips a beat. This is it. This is the opportunity she's been waiting for. A solo exhibition. Her mind races as she tries to process everything. She's worked so hard to get here, and now it feels like everything is falling into place. I'd love that, she says, her voice shaking with excitement. Thank you so much. After the call ends, Emma leans back in her chair, staring at the phone in her hands. She can't believe it. All the hard work, all the late nights, the self-doubt, it's all led to this moment. She's finally getting the chance to show the world who she really is, and it feels incredible. As she lies in bed that night, the weight of the day lifting off her shoulders, she thinks about how far she's come. She remembers the awkward blind date with Kevin, the chance encounter with Michael, and how his words helped her find the courage to pursue her dreams. For the first time in a long time, she feels proud of herself. She's on the right path, and the journey has just begun. As the days pass, Emma becomes consumed with preparation for her solo exhibition. The gallery's offer feels like a dream, but she knows it's an opportunity she can't let slip away. Each day, after finishing her shifts at the diner, she heads back to her apartment to work on her art. There's a constant pressure, but it's different now. It's not the weight of uncertainty anymore, but the excitement of making her dreams come true. She spends hours perfecting every piece, refining every detail until she can't see straight. But it's worth it. Slowly, the exhibition begins to take shape. One evening, while she's working on a new painting, her phone buzzes. It's a message from Jenny. I'm so proud of you, Emma. I knew you could do it. You're going to be amazing. The words make Emma smile. It's been a long road, but she's finally starting to believe in herself in a way she never has before. But amidst the excitement of preparing for the exhibition, Emma can't help but feel the pressure building. There are so many details to take care of, setting up the venue, finalizing the guest list, deciding on the pieces to showcase. She's trying to keep everything together, but it's starting to feel like too much. The doubts creeping again, the familiar voice telling her she's not good enough, that she'll mess it all up. Late one night, as she takes a break from painting, she finds herself sitting in the quiet of her apartment, staring at the phone in her hands. She remembers Michael's words. Take a breath, Emma. Don't forget to enjoy the journey. It's hard to do that when everything feels like it's riding on this one night. She's worked so hard, and she doesn't want to disappoint herself or anyone else. But what if it's not enough? What if no one shows up? What if her art isn't good enough to make a real impact? She sighs, her mind racing with all the what-ifs. The weight of it all feels suffocating. Just as she's about to pick up the phone and cancel everything, she hears a knock on her door. It's unexpected, and for a moment, she wonders if it's just her nerves playing tricks on her. She opens the door to find Michael standing there, holding a small bouquet of flowers in his hand. "Hey," he says with a smile. "I thought you could use a little something to brighten your day." Emma stares at him for a moment, surprised. "Michael, what are you doing here?" she asks, her voice soft. She hasn't seen him much lately, and the sight of him now, standing on her doorstep with flowers, feels oddly comforting. Michael shrugs. "I know you've been busy with the show, and I just wanted to stop by and remind you that it's okay to take a step back every now and then. You've worked so hard, and I'm proud of you, Emma." His words hit her harder than she expected. The exhaustion, the doubt, the fear, it all seems to melt away in that moment. She feels her chest tighten, but this time, it's not from the pressure. It's from something else, a deep sense of gratitude, of relief. She's been so focused on getting everything perfect, but she realizes now that it's okay to not have it all figured out. "Thank you, Michael," she says softly, her voice full of emotion. "I've been so stressed out, and I just keep thinking I'm not ready for all this." Michael steps closer, offering her the bouquet. "You are more than ready. You've already done the hardest part, believing in yourself. Now it's time to let everyone else see what you've created." He pauses for a moment, then adds, "No matter what happens, this is your moment. Enjoy it." Emma smiles, feeling something inside her shift. The fear doesn't disappear completely, but it's no longer as suffocating. She takes a deep breath, letting the weight of his words sink in. "You're right," she says quietly. "Thank you for reminding me." As Michael leaves, Emma stands in the doorway, watching him walk away. The bouquet of flowers is in her hands, a small symbol of encouragement in a moment of doubt. She feels a renewed sense of calm. Tomorrow is the big night, and she's ready to face it. Not perfectly, but authentically. And that's enough. The night of the exhibition finally arrives, and Emma's nerves are at their peak. She stands in front of her mirror, staring at her reflection, wondering if this is really happening. Her art is displayed in a gallery, and people, strangers, will be seeing it for the first time. She takes a deep breath, adjusting her dress, and reminds herself what Michael said. This is your moment. Enjoy it. Despite the nerves, she can't help but feel a spark of excitement deep inside her. After all the hard work, the sleepless nights, the doubt, this is the culmination of everything she's dreamed of. She grabs her purse and steps out of her apartment, walking to the gallery with quick, purposeful steps. The streets are bustling, the city alive with energy, but everything around her feels muffled. Her mind is focused entirely on the event ahead. She arrives at the gallery, her heart racing as she steps through the door. The space is filled with people, all dressed in elegant attire, their conversations drifting through the air. Emma hesitates at the entrance, scanning the room, but then she spots her artwork hanging on the walls. She feels a sudden rush of pride. Her work, her soul, on display for all to see. She moves through the crowd, greeting people she barely knows but trying to muster enough confidence to make small talk. The room is full of energy, but Emma finds herself feeling a bit overwhelmed. She's so used to being behind the scenes, so used to working in the shadows. But tonight, it's different. This is her time. Slowly, she starts to relax, speaking with a few art enthusiasts who are genuinely interested in her pieces. Their questions and compliments feel surreal, but it also feels incredibly rewarding. As the evening progresses, Emma starts to lose track of time. She talks to more people, hears their feedback, and watches them admire her art. It's more than she ever imagined. The nerves are still there, but now they've been replaced with a deep sense of fulfillment. She's done it. She's really done it. At one point, she spots Michael standing by her artwork, his eyes focused on the pieces as he takes it all in. She walks over to him, a smile on her face. "Hey," she says softly. He turns toward her, his expression warm as always. "Hey, Emma. Your work is amazing. I knew it would be," he says, his voice sincere. "This is just the beginning for you." She feels a lump form in her throat at his words. It's hard to believe how much has changed in such a short time. Only a few weeks ago, she was uncertain, questioning whether she could ever make her dreams come true. And now, here she is, with people admiring her art, her passion, and her journey. "Thank you, Michael," she says quietly, her voice full of gratitude. "I couldn't have done it without you." Michael gives her a knowing smile. "You did the hard part. You believed in yourself. I just helped you see that you were capable of more than you knew." For a moment, they stand in silence, watching the guests admire her work. Emma feels like she's finally in the place she's always dreamed of, surrounded by people who appreciate her art and the journey she's taken to get here. Later in the evening, the gallery owner approaches Emma, a big smile on his face. "Emma, I have to say, your work has been a hit tonight. We've had several people ask about purchasing some of your pieces. This is just the beginning. I'd love to discuss future opportunities with you." Emma's heart skips a beat at the news. People are interested in buying her art. It's everything she's worked for, everything she dreamed of. "Thank you so much," she says, trying to keep her voice steady. "I'm so grateful for this opportunity." As the night winds down and the last of the guests begin to leave, Emma stands by the door, taking it all in. She's exhausted, but in the best way possible. This is the beginning of something new for her, a new chapter in her life where her dreams aren't just dreams anymore. They're becoming her reality. She steps outside into the cool night air, a smile on her face as she looks up at the city around her. The road ahead won't be easy, but for the first time, she knows she's ready. She's found her purpose, and no matter what happens next, she's no longer afraid to chase it. Weeks go by after the exhibition, and Emma's life continues to shift in ways she could have never imagined. The solo show was a huge success. People have been reaching out, buying her pieces, offering her commissions, and inviting her to more galleries. She's no longer just the girl who worked at the diner, scraping by. She's an artist now, with her own identity and a future that seems full of possibilities. But despite all the success, Emma knows there's one thing she's been avoiding: her feelings for Michael. She's been trying to ignore it, thinking that maybe it was just a passing thing, something sparked by the chaos of the exhibition, but she can't. Every time she sees him, every time she talks to him, it feels different. There's something real between them, something genuine that she can't ignore anymore. It's not just about the art. It's about connection, about understanding, about two people who found each other in a moment of vulnerability. One evening, after a busy day of meetings and emails about new projects, Emma finds herself at the cafe again, the place where everything started. She's sitting alone at a table, sipping her coffee, when she hears a familiar voice. She looks up to find Michael standing at the door, looking as calm and composed as always. He spots her and walks over with that warm smile that always makes her heart skip a beat. "Mind if I join you?" he asks, his eyes gentle, his tone kind. Emma smiles and gestures to the empty seat across from her. "Of course, Michael. I was actually hoping you'd show up." Her heart races as the words leave her lips. It's been a while since they've spent time together, but there's something different now. Something between them that feels like it's been waiting to happen. He sits down, still smiling, but there's a spark in his eyes tonight that makes Emma nervous. She can't quite place it, but it makes her feel both excited and vulnerable. "I've been thinking," he starts, his voice softer than usual, "about everything you've accomplished. You've done more in these last few months than I could have ever imagined. You've come so far, Emma." He pauses, his eyes meeting hers. "But I think there's something even more important than your art that you've found. Something that's been here all along." Emma blinks, unsure of what he's getting at. "What do you mean?" she asks, her voice a little shaky. Michael leans in slightly, his gaze intense but gentle. "I'm talking about you. The person you've become, the confidence you've found, the courage to chase your dreams. I think that's the most beautiful thing you've found. And I've been here, watching it all happen." He reaches across the table, his hand resting gently on hers. Emma's heart skips. His touch sends a wave of warmth through her, and for the first time, she allows herself to fully feel the connection between them. This isn't just about art. This is about something deeper, something she hasn't been brave enough to admit to herself until now. "Michael," she says softly, her voice barely a whisper. "I think I've been afraid. Afraid to admit how much I care about you. Afraid of what that might mean, especially after everything that's happened. But I don't want to be afraid anymore." Michael's smile widens, and his hand gently squeezes hers. "I've been waiting for you to say that," he replies, his voice low and full of warmth. "Because I care about you too, Emma. And I'm not going anywhere." For a moment, there's a stillness between them, a quiet understanding that speaks louder than words. Emma feels a rush of relief, like a weight she didn't realize she was carrying has been lifted. The uncertainty, the fear, it's all gone, replaced by something real, something they've both been searching for. "I think this is just the beginning," Emma says, a smile spreading across her face. Not just for my art, but for us. Michael nods, his eyes never leaving hers. Yeah, the beginning of everything. As they sit there, hands intertwined, the world around them fades away. It's just the two of them, sharing a moment that feels like it was always meant to happen. Emma knows this is the start of a new chapter in her life. A chapter where she's not only an artist, but someone who's found love, connection, and a future that she can't wait to embrace. And for the first time, she feels truly ready for whatever comes next.